Here's a number that will stick with you. $25,000. Not a million. Not 500,000. $25,000. This is the single most important financial milestone most people will ever hit, and almost nobody talks about it. Not because the math is complicated, because it's counterintuitive. Saving your first $25,000 is harder than saving the next 100,000. That's not a motivational line. That's literally what the math shows. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to explain exactly why this number matters so much, what happens to your finances the moment you cross it, and the 5 things that make this milestone unlike any other on your path to financial freedom. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth about compound interest that most financial content glosses over. Everyone knows the famous Albert Einstein quote, "Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world." Great line. The problem is, nobody shows you the fine print. Compound interest barely does anything for you in the beginning. Here's what I mean. Let's say you invest $500 a month at a 9% annual return, roughly the historical average of the S&P 500. In your first year, your compound returns amount to about $280. That's it. $280 in earned investment income after 12 months of discipline. At $25,000 saved, your annual compound return at 9% is about $2,250. Still not huge, but now you can feel it. That's almost $200 a month your money is earning without you doing a single thing. At $50,000, you're at $4,500 a year. At $100,000, it's $9,000. But here's the point. Every dollar of that $100,000 required you to come up with it yourself, either by earning it, saving it, or not spending it. The math didn't help you. The market didn't carry you. Pure human discipline built that base. That's why $25,000 is so hard. You're at the stage where compound growth exists. You can see it on paper, but it's not yet doing the heavy lifting. You are. And that requires more willpower than most people realize before they start. The good news? Once you understand this, the entire journey changes. Because you stop expecting the math to motivate you in year 1, and you start building the habits that make year 5 possible. There's a concept in physics called escape velocity, the speed an object needs to reach to break free from a planet's gravitational pull. Investing has something similar. At $25,000 saved and invested, you haven't hit escape velocity yet, but you've built enough momentum that the next milestone, $50,000, arrives faster. And the one after that, faster still. Let's run the actual numbers. If you're contributing $500 per month into an S&P 500 index fund starting from zero, here's how long each $25,000 increment takes. 0 to 25,000, approximately 3.5 years. 25 to 50,000, approximately 2.5 years, 9 months faster. 50 to 75,000, approximately 1 year and 11 months, nearly 6 months faster again. 75 to 100,000, approximately 1.5 years. The gap shrinks every single time. By the time you're going from 75,000 to 100,000, the market is contributing nearly as much as you are. You're no longer running alone. The portfolio is running alongside you. This is the math that changes everything. 25,000 is the first clear proof that the machine is starting to work. Not full power yet, but it's running. And that matters not just financially, but psychologically. Nobody talks about this part, but it might be the most important one. When you hit 25,000 in savings, something shifts in your identity. You stop being someone who is trying to build wealth and start being someone who is building wealth. Those are not the same thing. Studies in behavioral finance consistently show that people's financial habits improve dramatically once they cross a tangible savings milestone. Not because of the money itself, but because of what the money tells them about who they are. Think about it this way. If you have $800 in a savings account and something goes wrong, your car breaks down, you need a dentist, you get an unexpected bill, that emergency fund disappears. Back to zero. Back to the beginning. And that psychological setback sends a lot of people into a spending spiral. What's the point of saving if it keeps getting wiped out? But at 25,000, a $3,000 car repair is still painful, but it doesn't erase your progress. You drop from 25,000 to 22,000. You're still someone with savings. You're still building. You recover in a few months instead of starting over. The setbacks stop feeling like defeat. They start feeling like inconveniences. And that difference in feeling changes how consistently you save. which changes how fast you reach the next milestone. There's also a social dynamic here. When you have 25,000 saved, financial decisions stop feeling desperate. You negotiate your salary differently. You leave a bad job when you need to instead of staying because you're afraid. Money in the bank is options. And options change how you live far beyond what the compound interest spreadsheet can capture. All right, let's get practical. If 25,000 is the milestone, how do you get there as fast as possible? There are 3 levers, and the order you pull them matters. Lever 1. Cut, then invest the difference. The fastest path to 25,000 is almost never earning more. It's spending less. Find the 2 or 3 biggest line items in your budget, usually housing, transportation, and food, and find $300 to $500 in monthly cuts. Not forever, for 12 to 18 months. Invest that directly into a low-cost index fund every month on autopilot. Why cut before you earn more? Because savings habits built under constraint are far stickier than those funded by windfalls. If you can save $400 a month on your current income, you'll save significantly more when your income rises. Lever 2. The 48-hour lump sum rule. Every time money unexpectedly arrives, a tax refund, a work bonus, a birthday gift over $100, side income, invest it within 48 hours. This rule works because impulse spending requires delay. If you invest before the money hits your checking account, you never develop a plan for it. A $2,500 tax refund invested at the start of the year has more than a decade to compound if you're in your 30s. That single deposit, repeated annually, alone gets you to 25,000 in 5 or 6 years. Lever 3. Separate the account. Hide the number. Open a dedicated investment account that isn't visible in your day-to-day banking app. Move your monthly automated investment there on the first of each month before you have a chance to spend it. This is called paying yourself first, and it is genuinely the most powerful saving strategy that exists, not because it's clever, but because it removes the decision. You never have to choose between the new phone and your future. The future already got paid. Here's the part most people never get to see, because most people never get past 25,000. Once you cross that threshold, the journey to 50,000, 100,000, and beyond looks completely different from the one that got you here. At 25,000 invested, your portfolio is generating roughly $180 per month in passive returns. That's not a life-changing number, but it's a real one. You now have a third source of income, however small, that you did not have to work for. At 100,000, which is just 3 to 4 more years of the same habit at the same contribution rate, that number is $750 per month. That's a car payment, a utility bill, a week of groceries. Real money doing a real job. At 250,000, you're looking at almost $1,900 per month in passive return. The market is contributing more to your wealth than a part-time job. And here's what makes the snowball truly relentless. You don't slow down because you've already built the habits. The $500 per month investment that felt hard when you started feels normal by year 3. By year 7, you're probably contributing more because your income went up and your lifestyle didn't follow. Warren Buffett made 97% of his net worth after the age of 65. Not because he started late, but because compounding is exponential. The last decade of a long compounding run dwarfs the first decade. Your 25,000 is not the finish line. It's the snowball reaching the top of the hill, and the hill is very, very long. Here's what I want you to do right now. Open a calculator and figure out how far you are from $25,000. If you're close, within a year, make this your only financial goal until you cross it. Pause unnecessary spending, apply every windfall, automate every spare dollar. Get there. If you're further away, pick a number you can invest every month, even $100, and automate it today. Not next week. Today. The first 25,000 is the hardest. Not because the number is big, but because you have to build it before the math helps you. Once you're across that line, the machine starts pulling its weight. If this gave you a clearer picture of what's actually happening with your money, hit subscribe. Every week, I break down one concept that separates people who build wealth from people who wonder where their money went. Next up, we look at why $100,000 is the moment most investors say the game completely changed for them, and the exact math behind why crossing 6 figures feels so different from everything that came before it.